What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. Woo. I'm gonna be reacting to History of Norway. Um, well, I didn't. I thought I had something prepared to say, but anyway, let's just watch.
Northern lights and even more fjords. This is the history
Woo.
of Norway.
Okay.
After millenniums covered in ice, the coast of Norway became ice-free, and the first migrators were nomadic people living of sailing, hunting, and fishing along the coast. Farming was eventually introduced, and during the Nordic Bronze Age, the yields decreased and trading began. The Celts introduced ironworking, setting the stage for the Iron Age. The social structure also changed.
The Celts were there first, before the people who are now known as Norwegian. I'm also part Celtic or Irish or whatever.
Extended families became clans, and conflicts were solved in a thing. A sacred place where men from the surrounding area would gather and determine fitting punishment for crimes. So farmers became powerful and rose to chieftains. They hired soldiers, creating a hird, enabling them to rule over large areas. Both the Norwegians and their neighbours were proficient shipbuilders and had spent generations upon generations building and using ships. This eventually resulted in the development of the longship. This ship was a master of all trades and set the stage for a new part of both Norwegian and Scandinavian history, the
Viking, right?
Age. Using the longboats, the Norwegians explored and colonized several islands, likely motivated by the lack of suitable
Oh, I want to see this actually. Wait. Alright, Scandinavian settlement. Well, Scandinavian doesn't say Norwegian. I guess, was this all mixed then? 8th. 11, okay. 700 frequent Viking raids, but little known Scandinavian settlement. Okay. 11th century. So, the people, if this is correct, I would like to know, the people who are now considered Norwegian are originally from this area, or is it just that, yeah, I don't, this is a little confusing. Is that all the descendants essentially of English origin at some point, but just have some distinction? This would be news to me, but okay, anyway.
Motivated by the lack of suitable farmland in parts of Norway and the will to explore. During this time, Norway was divided into several small petty kingdoms. Legend has it that one of these kings, Harald Fairhair, unified all of Norway after his marriage prospect, Gyda Eriksdatter, challenged him to do so before she would marry him. This marks the beginning of the Kingdom of Norway. The rulers after Harald had to contend with strong regional leaders and Danes, and in the late 10th century, the spread of Christianity also became an important political issue. Hailed as king in 995, Olaf Tryggvason quickly proceeded to convert Norway to Christianity, using all means at his disposal. But King Olaf had acquired several enemies during his meteoric rise to power. It climaxed when Olaf got
just so you know, that word's pronounced meteoric.
ambushed in the Sea Battle of Spaulder. In this battle, Olaf had 11 ships pitted against more than 70 ships belonging to Denmark, Sweden, and the Jarls of Leyde. Olaf's ships fell one after one, fighting to the last.
Okay,
his legendary ship.
It's a little bit difficult to understand him. Doesn't speak real clearly. Let's see if there's subtitles.
In this battle, Olaf had 11 ships pitted against more than 70 ships belonging to Denmark, Sweden, and the Jarls.
I think he said Denmark's.
Of Leyde. Olaf's ships fell one after one, fighting to the last in his legendary ship, the Long Serpent, until he leaped into the ocean to never be seen again. In 1015, Olaf Haraldsson, later known as Saint Olaf, represented the descendants of Harald Fairhair and returned from one of his Viking trips.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay.
And returned from one of his Viking trips and was immediately elected as king of Norway.
Elected a king? Interesting.
Ruled Norway successfully for many years, much due to the Danes being occupied with fighting in England. However, in 1028, the Danish king, Knut the Great, allied the Jarls of Leyde, forcing Olaf into exile. Olaf returned to reclaim his throne, and the last Lade Jarl drowned. But his ambitions was cut short as he was killed in Trøndelag, and the Danes gained control over Norway. The end of Danish overlordship came in 1035, when Magnus the Good returned to Norway and became king of an independent Norway.
These people keep returning. Okay. I'm a little confused. They were kicked out. Magnus, I was the first time hearing of him. He was there and then he was kicked out because he was what, part of the royalty or something?
Brother of Saint Olaf, Harald Harde, had fled after Olaf got killed, but he returned in 1045 bringing large amounts of riches and knowledge gained from serving the Byzantine Emperor. Harald shared his riches with Magnus to become co-ruler, and when Magnus died a few years later, Harald became the sole ruler. During his rule, he founded the city of Oslo, which is the modern-day capital of Norway. Following a claim on the English throne, he invaded England with a fleet of 300 ships. When the Norwegian army travelled towards York, the English army caught them by surprise, and the Norwegians were defeated, and Harold was killed in the bloody Battle of Stamford Bridge.
Wow, a lot of defeats early on.
The Norwegian British army was defeated by William the Conqueror 2 weeks later, forever changing.
It's kind of funny because everybody thinks of Norway as like, Vikings going in and taking, winning. It sounds like winning a lot of battles, but not a lot of wars.
The fate of England. One can only wonder what would have happened if Harold had defeated the British army. Following the end of the Viking Age, Norway saw more focus on the country's own resources. Thousands of farms were established, and the country was quite peaceful. However, in 1030 a period of civil war broke out due to unclear succession laws. After defeating his last internal rival in 1240, Håkon Håkonsson introduced clear succession laws and stabilized the country, setting the stage for Norway's golden age. This time zoning.
That's a really funny picture. This guy's fighting with like a baby, holding onto a baby. And skiing. That's hilarious.
The country, setting the stage for Norway's golden age. This time saw an extension of Norway's border, a union with Sweden, and the culture and the...
Whoa. This is fascinating. Norway at its greatest extent. Okay. Wow. So Norway, at one point, had taken over. Now, I believe it's interesting because I have family from, ancestors from the Isle of Man, which I believe is right here. So that would make sense. But I have also family directly from mainland Norway. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think I look fairly Norwegian. Interesting, they had Iceland and Greenland, and I don't know, I guess that was taken by Denmark? Greenland, at least?
This time saw an extension of Norway's border, a union with Sweden, and the culture and diplomatic ties to the rest of Europe increased. However, this would soon all change. In the summer of 1349, a ship arrived in Bergen, bringing the Black Death to Norway. The pandemic hit Norway hard and killed a third of the population during the first year, and killed several more in the years after. Several farms were left completely desolated, which lowered the price of land, which again made it hard for the landowners, and the state taxation dropped to a minimum. The Hansa established themselves in several Norwegian cities.
These are kind of interesting looking houses. Just a complete rock foundation. It's pretty high. Like oftentimes you see a rock foundation that comes right up to the ground, or it's like just to get enough to level things out. But these are real high. It's interesting. It looks like they make it sort of 2 levels of the house then. Wow.
And the state taxation dropped to a minimum. The Hansa established themselves in several Norwegian cities during this period. They distributed dried fish to other parts of Europe.
The Hansa? I may have missed. I don't know what that is.
Enabling commercial fishing, an industry that still remains strong in modern-day Norway. Between 1369
I love fish.
and 1536, Norway became part of the Kalmar Union, a a union joining the kingdoms of Denmark, Sweden and Norway under a single monarch,
Wow.
with Denmark as the de facto leader.
Why would they... I'm curious why they would willingly do that. Were they threatened? Or was it sort of like a NATO type thing, where it's like, oh, we'll all defend each other? I don't know.
Sweden eventually broke free from the Union, ending the Kalmar Union. Even though they tried, Norway was too weak to break off from the Union with Denmark. Also, when the Reformation spread to Scandinavia, it was implemented on Danish initiative, rendering the Norwegians even weaker as it now lost the church land.
That's definitely what Martin Luther would say. Definitely.
To the Danish crown. Norway's previously well-functioning state system was almost gone at
Wow. Okay.
this point, reducing Norway to Denmark's puppet state. The 17th century saw a boost of the Norwegian mining and timber industries. However, Denmark's many wars with, for example, Sweden led to heavy taxations on Norway. Denmark-Norway was forced into the Napoleonic Wars when the British attacked the Danish fleet. The Danes lost the war and were forced to with, for example, Sweden led to heavy taxations on Norway. Denmark-Norway was forced into the Napoleonic Wars when the British attacked the Danish fleet. The Danes lost the war and were forced to cede Norway to Sweden in the Treaty of Kiel in...
The British attacked the Danish fleet in Napoleonic
and were
Wars.
forced to cede Norway to...
So, at that point, what did Napoleon have control of England then?
Into the Napoleonic Wars when the British attacked the Danish fleet. The Danes lost the war.
Or more likely, I suppose, Denmark was allied with Napoleon or taken over or something. Ooh, I took advanced European history, but that was a while ago. I forgot how that played out exactly. But I know Napoleon certainly took over a large amount of Europe.
And were forced to cede Norway to Sweden in the Treaty of Kiel in 1814. The Norwegians tried to obtain independence, but was forced into rebellion.
Say that again.
In 1814, and were forced to cede Norway to Sweden in the Treaty of Kiel in 1814. The Norwegians...
But he just said the British and Danish were fighting, and that caused them to force them to cede Norway to Sweden. Why? Where did Sweden come in? Why to Sweden? Why not to England?
Tried to obtain independence, but was forced into a rather loose union with Sweden, where Norway established their own constitution. For many, this marks the beginning of the modern Norwegian state.
Yeah, looks like it reminds me of American constitution making.
And the Norwegians celebrate the date this constitution was signed.
Look at his outfit. It's pretty dope.
Every year. Due to medical advancements, the population rose significantly during the 19th century, leading to a need to modernize the agricultural sector. Still, more than 750,000 Norwegians traveled to the land of opportunity. The Union...
Yeah. I believe there's actually more Norwegians, but good chance that we're more mixed, like myself, than the average Norwegian in terms of race, mixed. Yeah, I don't know, race or ethnicity, whatever you call it.
The union with Sweden ended in 1005 after some cleverness from the Norwegian government, and Norway became an independent kingdom with its own monarch for the first time.
Well done. Whoops. What did I just do? Oh my gosh.
So an industrialization boom with Sweden ended in 1005 after some cleverness from the Norwegian government, and
cleverness? Wish you would go into that. How's that work? What cleverness?
Norway became an independent kingdom with its own monarch for the first time.
So, I think it's cool that they become independent. I'm a little surprised. The most surprising thing, I suppose, I don't know if the most surprising, but one of the most surprising things is that Norway has held on to its kingdomship, not gotten rid of the that position. It's not, it's just someone's born and then they're given a bunch of power, well, not power, but a bunch of money and acclaim, fame, for essentially doing nothing, right? Just being born, literally doing nothing. Norwegians are very logical people. I'm surprised they let that go on. I don't know.
550 years. The following years saw an industrialization boom. Also, several social laws were introduced, helping secure the rights of workers. Norway remained neutral during the First World War. During the interwar period, Norway...
Jeez, look at that. Look at that picture really quick. Look at that. That's so wild. Oh my goodness. Look at these crazy tanks. Oh my goodness. Oh, these look like the moving bridge type of tanks.
During the interwar period, Norway experienced both economic and political hardship, but eventually the Norwegian Labour Party managed to establish a dominant position and introduced many actions
Nygaardsvold.
to better the Norwegian economy. Norway once again proclaimed neutrality when the Second World War broke out, but Nazi Germany invaded Norway in 1040, and after a few months of fighting, Norway capitulated and remained under German occupation throughout the war.
Oh, I just saw the movie about it. Shoot, I forgot his name. Oh my goodness. Shoot. Anyway, good movie. The guy who... Max Manus. Yeah, nice.
The post-war period was a period of growth and political stability, laying the foundations for a modern welfare state. The discovery of large oil reserves in the late 1960s set the stage for a new industry in Norway, and through well-executed politics, the Norwegian state has been able to benefit greatly from the Norwegian oil industry. The 1970s saw the rise of both environmental and women.
Thank you! Oh my goodness! Here, the best part of the video. Thank you, whoever made this video. Okay, I tell this to people all the time. Norway would still be one of the richest per capita countries in the world without oil. It's not just oil. Oil is great, it's beneficial, yeah, fantastic. But thank you. I try to tell people it has a lot. It's culture, people, morality, love, as crazy as that might sound, but IQ, looking to the future. These things make a big difference. Low corruption, mental health, huge. And these people all, the people make up the government. The government is involved. Politics are involved in the government. So, yeah, all those things make a big difference. Not just oil.
70s saw the rise of both environmental and women's rights movements. The economy got deindustrialized, and higher education became commonplace. During the 90s, Norway saw increased liberalism, more privatization, and the solidification of a strong and diverse economy. As a result, the 2008 financial crisis almost had no impact on Norway. In 2011...
Well, wait, what is this? I don't know what this says. But, I mean, this seems to have some impact, whatever this is. This is going to 500 to 250. It seems noteworthy. I don't know what this is. This says Hove, but that doesn't look good to go down by half.
Norway experienced a major terror attack from a lone...
Well, when was this? What?
crisis almost had no impact on Norway. In 2011, Norway experienced a major terror attack from a lone wolf right-wing extremist, which claimed 77 lives in total.
What was just a random attack? I wonder what was the motivation.
Today, the population of Norway is around 5 million.
That's really nice.
And Norway is considered the most developed and democratic country in the world. They also have the world...
I think the Swiss would argue with you on that, but they're losers. Just kidding.
largest sovereign wealth fund.
True.
From humble beginnings towards greatness, and then to downfall and submission, and to greatness again. That was the history of Norway.
good summary, because some of the things I was a little fuzzy on before.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank
And
you.
until next time, carry on.
Alright, yeah, that's pretty interesting. It wasn't anything like super wild, but I'm sure if you go in the details, there's a little more crazy stuff. Doesn't really matter though. The outcome is arguably the best in the world. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. Interesting. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any more suggestions for me and stuff to react to, talk about, let me know. If you would, like and comment, subscribe if you want, but if not, that's fine. That's totally fine. And have a good one.